So yes, my name is Margrét Aðalheiður, and I'm here to talk about my bachelor's project, Vanitas. The idea for my project comes from John Berger's Ways of Seeing and Teenage Girl magazines. I started in the beginning looking into teenage girl culture, something that's often considered frivolous, lowbrow, and unimportant, and I wanted to explore why and try to find the essence of those judgments. Vanitas is a publication about the concept of vanity, how it has evolved through time and how it appears to us today. The topic is explored and expressed through text, symbolism, images, and typography. I also designed the typeface Vanitas display, which is seen here and throughout the project. So I split the book into 5 chapters: Vice, Omnia Vanitas, Mirror, Selfie, and Circle. Each chapter explores the topic from a different perspective, starting in the past and then moving up to the present. The first chapter looks at vanity as a vice, which it's commonly considered to be. To pay too much attention to one's looks, frivolous or unimportant things, and an inflated ego is usually the understanding one draws from the word. In that chapter, I also explore the Greek myth of Narcissus. And you could see there soon that there's a star with the inscription self-love icon, which appears a few times throughout the book. And the idea is to have an ironic but still genuine spin on a positive side of vanity. Omnia Vanitas, or All is Vanity, explores 17th century Vanitas oil paintings. The paintings show an array of luxurious and exotic possessions, but when you look closer, then you start to see signs of death, rot, and decay. The paintings remind the viewer of this biblical notion that all is vanity. Nothing really matters, we're all going to die, is kind of the idea. With this gloominess, I used a lot of glitter throughout the book. I found that element appropriate since its sole purpose is to be sparkly and pretty. But the gloominess of the Vanitas paintings continues throughout the project, and it inspired color choice and other visual elements. The third chapter looks at the mirror as a sign of vanity. So people are often shown looking at themselves in the mirror as a motif to show their vanity. Here, John Berger's writings on the mirror as a tool of condemnation is looked at, and it explores how that condemnation mirrors certain attitudes. Who is allowed to look at themselves in the mirror, and for how long can they look? Is someone vain because they like what they see in the mirror, or what is there only for others to consider and look at? Selfie, or self-image, looks at why we take selfies. It questions whether they are a sign of decay in morals and rise in vanity, or rather just a new form of expression, communication, and photography. I also created Vanitas images of my own, where I took 2 dead phones, rotting fruit, and flowers, and created images that show how our possessions can also die in a way. I also used shorter segments of texts and created these full quote pages that are strewn about the book. The final chapter, Circle, looks at the simultaneous condemnation, at the feedback loop that the simultaneous condemnation and glorification of vanity can create. Advertisement and publications try to appeal to our vanity. We have to look impeccable but not focus too much on it. And it can kind of create this vicious cycle when we're trying to entertain and avoid our vanity at the same time. The cover of the book is printed on this mirror paper so the viewer can see themselves as they hold the book. And the back of the book tries to grab the viewer's attention and warn them at the same time with the exclamation. So I designed the typeface Vanitas display for this project, and the typeface draws its inspiration from the semiology of vanity. Gentle smoke from an extinguished candle, decay, but also ornamentation and embellishment. when designing the typeface, I hand draw the letters first. And thank you.